Most of the time, when people come to the public library, they're there because they want to be there. They want to come to story time or they want to research their family history. But what I like to help people understand is that we have so much more than books. We still have books, and we're a city that reads. Our checkouts for our books at all 4 of our locations is really strong. Our demand for bestsellers and new fiction and nonfiction of all types is still really strong. Libraries do a whole lot more than just books. So we have a lot more fun, is what I like to say.
I love that.
In the public library, we have a lot more fun.
Welcome back to the Discover Fort Smith podcast. My name's Josh Bufink. I'm with the City of Fort Smith, and sitting next to me is my lovely co-host, Ashley Backert, with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, known as Discover Fort Smith. And today we're at the Janet Huckabee Nature Center. They've allowed us to film in this incredible space, and we're really glad to be here. You can see some of the nature behind us.
Free tourist attraction.
And I get to look
community.
I get to look at Wells Lake while I'm sitting here having these conversations, which is it's a little cold outside today, but it's awesome to look at. And we get the amazing pleasure to sit with Jennifer Goodson, who is with Fort Smith Public Library. You're the library director there. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
So tell us, are you from Fort Smith? How did you end up here in Fort Smith, Arkansas?
I grew up in Fort Smith. I went to what is now Park Elementary School, Chaffin Junior High, graduated from Southside.
Nice.
And then went to college in Fayetteville and had moved away for about 14 years between college and graduate school. I lived in Oklahoma.
Okay. We won't hold that against you.
Back
I'm from Tulsa.
Ties.
Sorry, I'm from Tulsa, so I feel like I have the right to say that.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Well, we lived in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And I worked for the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center Library. I was a medical librarian there.
Nice.
That had the chance to come back in 2003.
Okay. So what brought you back? What made you want to come back to Fort Smith?
I had a little boy, and the grandparents were here, but I also had the amazing opportunity to come back to our Fort Smith Public Library. And I had worked in the library when I was in high school and in college, had still sort of maintained some connections with the library director. And we had this wonderful new main library and 3 fantastic branches. So all of the hard work had already been done.
Yeah.
And so I got to come back to all of these wonderful facilities and the town that I grew up in.
That's awesome. How many library branches do we have in Fort Smith?
We have our main library at 67,000 square feet. That's the one that most people are familiar with. Of course, it's right at the corner of Free Ferry and Rogers. And then we have 3 neighborhood branches, one on the north side, one on the east side, and one on the south side. Okay. Those 3 are all architecturally identical. So if you know what our Dallas branch looks like and you're on the south side, you'll recognize the Miller branch because they look alike.
That's cool. So what made you decide you wanted to be a librarian? How did that start? Do you just love reading?
I did grow up in a reading family. I was a library kid. My mom brought me to the library regularly, the old library on 8th Street. It's now part of the city complex. But really, when I turned 16, I needed money for gas because I was driving. And just coincidentally, our neighbor was the library director. And so my dad suggested that I see if she had any jobs at the library. What parent wouldn't want their teenager to work at the library? So I asked her, and she hired me.
Oh, that's awesome.
As a page. I was 16. A page, we still hire pages today. You shelve, check books in and out, help people a little bit. And so I did that all through high school. And then I went to college, the U of A in Fayetteville, and I majored in journalism. And I thought that I would work for a newspaper or a magazine. Every summer, when I would come back to Fort Smith for the summer, I would try to get on at the newspaper. And they would never hire me. But the library would always hire me back.
Yeah.
And so in the summers, went back to the library. And they gave me an increasing amount of responsibility, as time passed. And finally, my junior year of college, I kind of had this realization that I really did want to be a librarian. So then I started the process of applying to grad school and working out the career.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what is it like going from a medical library to then Fort Smith Public, very community-minded versus academic?
There are a lot of similarities, actually, but a lot of really big differences, too. I had always thought that my career would take me back to public libraries. When I was in graduate school, that's what I thought I would do. But again, when I graduated with my library degree, I had gotten married and lived in Oklahoma City, and I couldn't get on at the public library. But I was able to really luck into a job at the university medical library. As the largest medical library in the state, we were open to the public. So anybody with an Oklahoma driver's license actually could check out books. And we were located just east of downtown. So we were by Children's Hospital, University Hospital, Presbyterian, the VA. Oh, wow. Lots of public were in that complex, getting medical care. And so they would come to the library sometimes if they'd just been diagnosed with something or their child had and they wanted information. So in a lot of ways, we still had that public contact. But the main difference when I came back was most of the time when people come to the public library, they're there because they want to be there. They want to check out the new John Grisham, or they want to come to story time, or they want to research their family history. That's different at a university library. They're generally there because they have to do an assignment or complete a paper or, find out about a difficult diagnosis. So we have a lot more fun is what I like to say. In the public library, we have a lot more fun. And one of the things I try to encourage our staff to do is to not get so hung up in the day-to-day work of actually, running the library. And don't forget to go and watch story time every now and then. Or, if we have a program that appeals to them, go to the program, enjoy the things that we're offering because, it's good for them too.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you why you're doing it, as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So
I always say in the medical library, it was rewarding, it was challenging, it was interesting. It was not often fun.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys do. And I see your calendar that you put out every single month. It's always full of stuff. So first off, how can people follow those events or know what's going on at the library? And then tell us maybe about some of those events that happen.
We have between 30 and 50 free events every month for kids,
That's
but also
lot.
for teens and adults.
That's a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people think about the library being, story time. And we definitely are very active with children's programming. But I also think that sometimes people overlook our adult programs and our programs for teens. But we have a printed calendar that we put out every month. It's available at all 4 locations. It's usually at about middle of the month before. We also put all of our events and activities on our website. And so at any time, you can select the location or the age group or the day that you're interested in, and you'll see the event and a description of what's going on. Also, our Facebook page and our Instagram are the 2 primary ways that we try to tell people what we've got coming up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of on a recurring basis how people can stay in touch with us and find out what's going on. We also do a monthly newsletter, so they can just send us an email, or there's actually a web form to fill out on our website to ask to be added to our mailing list. Nice. So there's a lot of different ways we can try to get at the information to get it out to people.
What are some of your favorite events? I know you'd mentioned, and Tiffany was on, and she talked a lot about youth services and stuff like that. But what are some teenager or adult-focused programs that you guys have?
Couple of the things we have going on just this month. We have a gift wrapping station at our main library. It's completely free. We provide wrapping paper, tape, ribbon.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Josh is like, and I have plans.
I am terrible at wrapping, so this is like the best Christmas gift I could have received.
You still have to wrap them yourself.
But everything's there.
But we provide everything.
Okay.
I love wrapping presents.
Oh, I have to wrap? Oh, okay.
I will meet you at the library and I will wrap because I adore wrapping presents.
Okay, but you guys supply the
stuff. Everything, right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can bring in your gifts and just kind of set up shop at the table there on the first floor and wrap your gifts.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Will somebody help me if I need to?
I just volunteered
I know.
Why for looking at me?
I'm sorry. I'm going to take you up on that too.
Yes.
New this year, we also have a wrapping station at our Windsor branch. That's our North Side
branch.
branch.
Okay.
So they are offering the same supplies and things there. So that's new for them. We've done it at the main library for a few years now. Also, December, the second Sunday of every month. We've done this for not every month, the second Sunday in December. We've done this for almost 20 years now, I think. We have our holiday open house.
Okay.
It's at the main library. It's all afternoon, 1 to 5. Every department in the library is open, even the behind-the-scenes ones that you never see otherwise, like our administrative office, the area where we catalog books, our computer people. All of those areas are open. We have food and drink in the library. We have games, and we have performers on the stairs. The branches, actually, all 3 branches, their staff come over to the main library that afternoon, and they have some sort of an activity too. All ages, music, food, drink. You'll find me popping popcorn all afternoon. It's a great time. We have the Grinch.
Like there was like a scavenger hunt or something.
We do. In order to sort of help people get to everywhere, we have a scavenger hunt. So you just kind of get checked off at each of the places where we're offering activities. And then you turn that in when you're finished, and we have a drawing for prizes for adults and for kids. So it's not just for kids. The adults can have fun too.
That's cool.
And then the library's decorated. We just had our board meeting there and took advantage of kind of a free space for that. And it looks gorgeous. And I know you guys are still doing something. But
we are.
It's coming together. It's so pretty.
And for the last several years, our Library Endowment Trust has underwritten the cost of lighting the buildings. And so if you drive by after dark, the branches and the main library, the building's lit and the trees are lit. So that's really pretty. And at the main library, of course, being across the street from Creekmore, it's a nice sort of hand-in-hand thing because Creekmore's so pretty this time of year.
So you talk about different authors and things like that. What are the most popular that you're seeing?
We always keep track of the New York Times bestseller list. And so every week when the New York Times puts out the new list, we actually copy it, annotate it, put it out for the public to see, so you can see which ones we have, which ones are on order, which ones we still need to get. But we'll have all of the top New York Times nonfiction and fiction. Also, we try to get the paperback bestsellers. So if it's on the bestseller list, we'll have it, whether it's John Grisham, Danielle Steele, but even some of the more contemporary ones now, Colleen Hoover, it's really big. The popular romance, the romantasy, that's the kind of mashup between romance and fantasy, like Iron Flame and Fourth Wing. Those are really popular. And we also try to keep track of the demand. So we get reports that tell us like which books have a lot of holds on them. And if there are a certain number of holds, then we'll go ahead and buy another copy so that people don't have to wait too long. But, I think if we looked at James Patterson, of course, very, very popular. There's a new David Baldacci book that will be really big. There is a new John Grisham. It's already out and will be out for quite some time. So really all of those popular authors you see on the bestseller list. But we also don't just buy bestsellers. And there is a form on our website that people can go to, and it's purchase suggestions, suggest a purchase. So if you heard about a book on NPR or read about it, in the Times Record, and you'd like the library to have it, you just fill out that form. It actually comes directly to me. And my philosophy is generally, if one person takes the time to fill out that form and tell me that they're interested in having it at the library, there are other people in a city the size of Fort Smith that would also be interested. So we do our best to try to accommodate requests from the public as well.
My last question is, there's not enough space in the library for all of this. So what is that like? It's hit its cycle. now it's time to retire it out of the library? Like, what does that even look like?
We have a number of different criteria for what we call the technical term is weeding. We weed books from the collection. And typically it's if it hasn't checked out. We start with 5 years. Sometimes, depending on what the subject area is, that's too long. Like if it's a medical book, 5 years is way too long. We might look at 3 years or a test prep book, like a GRE exam book or a, LSAT or something like that. So we look at if it's checked out. We also look at the timeliness of certain topics. Of course, if it's in poor condition, we'll take it out because of that. We have a number of different criteria that help us decide when it's time for something to go. And that's a public library. In a university library, it's a different kind of thing, because their responsibility is more to preserve. Our responsibility is more to have things that people want to check out.
Makes sense.
So when you come to a book sale, you may see a lot of former library books, and they've been withdrawn from the collection or weeded because they're out of date, or maybe we had too many copies. We'll buy a ton of James Patterson when a new one comes out, but after that demand settles down, we don't need to have 8 copies. And so we might withdraw 4 and still have one at each location.
Nice.
Yeah. So what other services do you offer? I know one of the things that I had seen posted somewhere is that you guys do like tax services and stuff like that too. What?
In the springtime, we partner with AARP Tax Volunteers.
Oh, okay.
That takes place at our Windsor branch on the north side. But they offer free tax preparation, no limits, no age limits, no income limits. It can't be complicated, no farm, income or small business income or anything like that. But we served, I want to say, close to 1,000 people last spring with taxes there. They do it
amazing.
3 times a week, I think. We will partner with anyone really who we can find a common interest with.
Yeah.
We're partnering with Fort Kids Museum. We partner with the Fort Smith Police Department. They do a story time with us.
Officer Fuzz comes sometimes.
Officer Fuzz comes sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
When
I
he's
know.
feeling it.
I know. He's moody.
We partner with UAFS. We recently had a faculty member from UAFS who came for Native American Awareness Month. She read some Cherokee stories. So we are always looking for community partners too that we can join with to kind of shore up or strengthen what we offer.
If somebody wanted to be involved in that way, what's the best way to do that? Email you or?
We have a number of different places on our website where they can contact any of those, whether it's me in particular, any of our staff, or there's some general forms that they can fill out. It'll get to the right person.
Okay, that's great. And we were talking earlier about the genealogy department and stuff there, and how neat.
Shout out to Sydney.
How neat that place is. What are some maybe some misconceptions about the library that people have? Because honestly, I wouldn't think about researching my genealogy whenever I think about the library at all. So what are some things that people may not realize about the library, or some common misconceptions people have about it?
One of the things that I hear sometimes from people is, our libraries are really pretty. I'm glad we have them, but, I don't read. Or I buy my books from Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like they're a little guilty about it. Like I hate to tell you this, but I buy my books from Amazon. And what I like to help people understand is that we have so much more than books. We still have books, and we're a city that reads. Our checkouts for our books at all 4 of our locations is really strong. Our demand for bestsellers and new fiction and nonfiction of all types is still really strong. But libraries do a whole lot more than just books. So, for example, technology. A lot of us these days don't have printers at home. So we offer printing for the public. We have fast internet, whether it's hardwired computers that you can sit down and use, or it's our Wi-Fi. One of the things about our Wi-Fi, it's available 24/7, even when we're closed, and it reaches at all 4 locations out to the edges of our parking lot.
Ooh, that's
So,
smart.
if you need some good internet at 10 o'clock at night, come park in a parking lot and access the Wi-Fi. So there's technology. We have scanner that people can use. But we also have our programs. We have family history research.
Okay.
We have classes, all kinds of activities and events. We also have streaming services. We have Hoopla and we have Kanopy. They're both free with your library card. You can stream movies, TV shows, kids shows, documentaries, independent films, foreign films.
Oh, cool.
You can even stream them. They have apps, so you can stream them on your TV through an app on your smart TV.
Oh, that's really cool.
So to get a library card with you guys, do you have to be Fort Smith city resident?
We are a city library. Our primary source of funding comes from people who pay a property tax who live inside the city limits of Fort Smith. So library cards are free to people who live inside the city limits of Fort Smith. All you have to do is come to any of our 4 locations, bring something that shows your home address. Can be a utility bill, a bank statement. You can show it to us on your phone. But just something that proves that you live in Fort Smith, and you're all set. You get your card on the
if
spot.
You're in Greenwood.
If you live outside the city, you can get a library card. It's $35 a year for non-residents. You get all of the benefits of the library card once you've paid that. But the other thing we like to encourage people who live outside the city to do is take the time to focus or scope out what your local library offers. A consortium that we're in for ebooks, we're in that consortium with 20 other libraries. So if you're a user of our downloadable books, Libby, you have access to more or less the same materials through our site as you would through Crawford County or through Scott Sebastian and Greenwood. A little difference, but generally the same service. So a lot of people sort of discount what might be available at their local free library because it's smaller than ours. We're happy to have non-residents get library cards, but we also like for them to take a look at what might be at their own library first. Greenwood's building a new library.
I know. I pass it every day coming in.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It's going to be very nice. So we're excited about that for the Greenwood community.
That's cool.
The other thing I like for people to know is that you only need a library card to check out books and to access some of our online resources from outside the library. But to come to a program, to come and research your family history, to visit our cafe, to bring your kids to story time, you don't have to have a card. We don't card you at the door. And so we love to see people from everywhere come in. It's just when we're allocating scarce resources, the library card is limited to the people who primarily fund us.
And you guys do like book sales and stuff from time to time as well?
We have 4 book sales a year. That's our Friends of the Library who do our book sales. We have our last one of the year coming up. It starts Monday. It's our rare, vintage, and collectible book sale. So things that are worth a little bit more than the $1 that we usually charge at a regular book sale. We have some really neat materials, over 1,000. And that book sale runs for a week.
Wait, so your books are usually $1? That's pretty cool.
At our other 3 book sales a year, nearly everything is $1 or less.
We come, but I never really recognized that everything was just $1. I probably should have. Oh, that's awesome.
That's better than the book fair at the schools.
Definitely.
Where you can't afford them.
Definitely.
They're like $30, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so public library, you get your funding from there. how are other ways that you're generating some revenue? Because obviously there's a lot that goes into all of this. So what else are you guys doing?
So our primary source of funding, as I said, is a property tax that's paid by people who live inside the city limits of Fort Smith. We also get a share of the city's portion of the county sales tax. Those two things are the bulk of our revenue. But we also get a little bit of state funding. Also, fines and fees. So, we do still charge overdues. It's 25 cents a day. There is a lot of guilt that can surround people that have kept their books a little bit too late. That's revenue for us. And so don't feel bad. Bring them back, but bring them back and pay your fine. We get about $100,000 a year in revenue from fines and fees.
Okay, what's the latest a book has ever
been? About $10,000 is from me. No, I'm just kidding.
We see things sometimes that have been in someone's closet or boxed up or something, years. But the maximum you're ever going to pay is the cost of the book.
Yeah.
So it's not like
we found a book that we thought was long gone a couple of weeks ago and finally returned it. I felt so bad though, because I was like, we've had this for like a year and a half, and I thought it's gone. Nope, we had it. Found
and
it.
Your maximum fine, if you do find that under the bed or in the back of the closet, is $10. So find it, bring it back, feel good about it. Don't feel bad. We're happy to see the book back, and we're happy to see that $10.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
$100,000 into the
I never would have imagined that.
No.
But
we also rely a whole lot on donations because we do want to do so much more than our public money can provide. And so whether it's through our endowment, that's like our foundation, or whether it's through our friends at the library, or it's just donations to the library itself. They're all tax deductible, whichever of those three routes you take. And our library endowment provides us about $100,000 a year in supplemental funding that we use for special projects, technology. We're digitizing our historic Fort Smith newspapers. They're on microfilm. And so we're digitizing them so they're accessible, and
cool.
searchable.
Yeah.
We've made it from the 1850s through the early 1970s.
That is awesome.
It's been several years we've been working on this, but we still have the early 70s to about the early 2010s to go. And so we're using endowment money. We recently got a grant from a foundation to help us a little bit with that. So grants, donations, fundraising, that's really important to us.
And you guys have a couple big fundraisers every year that I know about. There's probably more, but the Black Tie Bingo.
Black Tie Bingo is our signature event. Happens usually the first Friday in November.
Yeah.
It's at the main library. For that night, we transform the library into an amazing formal setting for a black tie formal event. People dress up in their finest. They get a gourmet dinner, drinks, and then we play bingo.
Yeah.
And they win great prizes. And it raises tens of thousands of dollars for the library.
That's amazing.
Yes,
and then
there's a chocolate.
Yeah, the chocolate festival.
Chocolate Festival is always the last Sunday in September. It's at our Dallas branch. That's the East Side branch library. That's a Friends of the Library event. And so we get around 20 local nonprofits, businesses, organizations. They come, they bring the chocolate. We sell tickets. It's $10 for 6 very, very generous samples. In fact, they're so generous, we also give you a to-go box
oh my gosh.
because you're not going to be able to eat your 6 samples while you're at the event. And it's an afternoon of, chocolate at the library. What could be better than that?
Yeah. Oh, that sounds awesome. I feel bad that I've never been to that because I'm a chocoholic, and that sounds like a dream.
You would love it.
Yeah. So, what plans? Are there any plans for the future at the library? Things that like programs that are upcoming, or things that you're excited about that haven't happened yet at the library?
We definitely want to continue to expand our digital offerings. Okay. One of the things that I haven't specifically talked about, I talked about streaming video, but we have downloadable books. So if you read on your Kindle, you can check out those books from the library and not have to spend $15, $16 to buy them from Amazon. That's a really popular service. And if you use the service, you probably have noticed that most of the bestsellers, there's a wait on Libby. And so we're always looking to add more and more resources to Libby to improve the selection and reduce the wait times. So that's ongoing priority of ours. Continuing that digitization project, we want to have all of those historic newspapers completely online, uninterrupted. And so that's a multi-year project that we're continuing to work on. We are looking possibly to bring in some authors. We haven't done that since before COVID, but it's a lot of fun to bring in person an author that we read their books, and we maybe see them on TV. So we're looking forward to possibly doing that over the next year or two, and just continuing to try to see what Fort Smith wants and how the library can fit into that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So something we do with all of our guests is we like to hear where you like to eat, where you like to spend your free time when you're in Fort Smith. And you can't say the library because we know that, okay?
Work does not count.
Yeah. So, where do you like to go eat? What are some of your favorite restaurants?
I'm a big fan of the locals. And of course, we have an amazing cultural diversity in Fort Smith.
Yeah.
So any of our Vietnamese restaurants are Latino restaurants, Mexican restaurants, and the others. So Green Papaya, La Huerta, Las Americas, Rolando's, R&R Curry.
Yeah.
So that's been popping up a lot.
Yeah, we just heard that one.
But then also, George's and Landry's is over in Van Buren now.
Yeah.
One of the things, even though we're talking about Fort Smith, it is a region. And, it's not that big a deal to cross the river. And they have some pretty cool stuff over there, too.
Yeah,
they do.
So Pasta Grill and Landry's and some of the other places over there, too.
Oh, that's great.
And our local coffee shops, Fort Smith Coffee Co. in Sweet Bay, of course, but also Crossy Coffee over on Greenwood. 1127 on Grand near the campus. I like those little local places.
Yeah.
I will say that your cafe serves a great cup of coffee.
It does.
And I'm a little bit of a snob on the espresso side of the house. But every time I go in, again, just such a great customer service experience, but they go in, they really kind of take care of you. Cappuccinos are great there.
That's great to hear.
Wonderful.
That's one of the things a lot of people may not realize is that we do have a cafe in the main library. We've had it in there for probably about 15 years now. Those are library employees, and we run the cafe. In graduate school, I did not take a class on how to run a restaurant. But those are library employees, and we have the same customer service focus, and we really try to have good quality products. So good coffee, good sandwiches, good salads. Don't forget about Dewey's.
Yes, absolutely. And reminder, again, you guys have meeting space.
We do.
I feel like every time someone's like, hey, we've got a small family gathering, or we have this, we tend, from our side, we will always go through and be like, hey, how big? The library is a really great option for you. So, kind of talk about that space as well.
All 4 locations have free meeting space. It's available for anyone. So even for-profit entities can use the space. All that the policy specifies is that they can't use it to make money, to recruit customers, or to recruit employees. So we might have, a local auto shop chain that might come and do leadership training there. Or, a national coffee shop chain might come and do training there. But we have, reunion committees, we have city boards and civic group boards. Just pretty much everything you can imagine. The only requirements, as I said, they're completely free. It's one of the only places in Fort Smith where you can get free meeting space. They can't be purely social events. So no baby showers, no birthday parties, no, anniversary celebrations. And then they can't be used to make money. So no sales, no recruitment. But other than that, they're available for the public to use. No library card required. Don't have to be in Fort Smith.
And they have technology. Your technology team, again, I can't say enough. Projectors there. It's got the computer. It has everything. Yeah.
And all
it's
that's
such a great
free.
space.
We're
Yeah.
not going to nickel and dime you if you need a projector or you need us to provide a laptop. Just tell us what you need when you reserve the room, and we'll make sure it's there.
Yep.
That's awesome. Jennifer, thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and look forward to how the library system continues to grow and searching those digitized newspapers from 1970 to 2010.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you.